Hey everybody, Paul here from the Movie Guys, back at the Pasadena International Film Festival, and I'll say this again as I've said it to everybody. Are you the international filmmaker? I haven't met anybody from out of the country yet.
I am not an international
all right.
filmmaker.
Well, I'll find him eventually. But in the meantime, it is Krista Riihimaki.
Yes.
Great name.
Thank you.
Talking about her film Child Disrupted, which you said, hey, can I chat with you real quick? And I said, sure. And then someone came up and said, she just won an award in Santa Monica. So there's already buzz about your film here, which is a feature, yeah?
No, it's a short.
Oh,
it's a 26-minute documentary. And it was at the Los Angeles Short Film Festival last weekend, and it won Best of the Festival.
Very nice.
Yes.
Look at you. And now you're here, and it plays next week here.
Yeah, well, I'm here this week, and it's going to play again next weekend at the Oregon Documentary Film Festival in Portland.
Nice run.
Yeah, it played a couple weeks ago in Sedona and Durango, and it played a bunch in the fall too. So it's been really great. I think the topic is very timely.
Yeah, explain us all what the topic is.
Yeah, so the film, it addresses the nagging question that I think all of us have. Is technology disrupting our children? Are children having...
Yes, the end. Roll credits.
Basically, right? I mean, we all have that feeling, right? But I was a teacher. I was a Montessori school teacher, and I never felt like I had the research or the evidence to really tell parents why it was bad. I just felt like I was being the it's not good, but I didn't really know why, and so I
can't just be a nanny poo-poo, right? You have to have facts.
Yeah, I wanted to give the facts.
I got a half hour's worth.
Yes, and I come from a background not only as a teacher, but I studied biology as an undergraduate and developmental biology. So I wanted to give people what is the truth about this subject. So I kept it short, 26 minutes. I feel like it's more like a thought piece than a real documentary per se. It's a bunch of experts giving their thoughts on this area and allowing you to really think about what your thoughts are afterward. So it's not one of those documentaries that
forces an agenda.
Right. It's not going, this is wrong. You're going to be screwed up if you do this to your kids. It has some elements of facts that might say that, but the end of it is really, look, it's about balance. It's about finding what's right for your family and for your child. These are potential things that could happen, but it just depends on what the reality is, and you have to be a detective to really see what the truth is for your child.
I said this the other day in conversation, and I heard myself say it, and I went, well, that was pretty wise. I should repeat that. So I have a couple times. I said, I think it's cool that we grew up in an era, I did at least, where we got to see the invention of the iPhone and see how it changed what we used to do into, I write comedy sketches, and it's like, oh, what was that movie somebody was in? Tell you what, I'm going to run down to the library real quick, find out what that movie was, and come back in a half hour, and I'll have that fact. Instead of beep out that boop, I got it in 5 seconds. But so I always thought it was great to grow up in an era where the invention of the iPhone was a thing. Now, some people just have always had it.
Yes.
And I think they're missing out
on
that whole wonder of the invention of it all.
Yes. And also this...
But of course, they'll probably have some new invention that, they'll be amazed, well, we had iPhones, but now we have nanotechnology that controls our thoughts. And
I know.
Remember what it was like before then?
I know. I've met a few people who, they haven't seen the film yet, but they were basically, but this is the future, and this is the future of evolution, and don't you think that children are going to be better for it? And I think that maybe, yes, in some ways. Of course technology is good. I mean, what do you think I edited the movie on? What do you think I do most of my life on? Of course I think technology is great, right? Cameras are amazing. Technology, I would never give it up. But
this conversation is a lot more boring without technology.
Yeah, no one would see it,
no
right?
one would see it.
But when you're 6 years old, you don't have the brain development and the neurons that are going to give you the foundation to be able to manage that technology and to be able to create something beautiful and useful for society unless you have a good foundation.
Would you say it manages you?
Yes. People become consumers. All the images are coming in. They're giving a message to the person. They're not becoming constructive, critical thinkers, and it's really difficult to manage. What some of the experts said in the film is that basically the frontal lobes of children are not being developed the way they should be. So that's the part of the brain that makes us human and that makes us being able to think and make creative problem solving and make choices for ourselves. When children don't have that developed, basically they revert to their animal brain, and that goes for adults too. If we're overusing technology, our animal brain takes over, and that's the part of the brain that basically, me hungry, me buy things, like you're not really becoming like this higher
you would
level.
Think that the high-end technology would be so far removed from primitive man.
Yeah.
And yet it's the pathway.
Right. You're basically atrophying those areas of the brain that we evolved to become higher level critical thinkers. So technology can be a tool, yes, but you need to wait until you're old enough to manage it, until you have the pathways that have been developed of all your senses. So children are being misdiagnosed at young ages with sensory processing disorders and things like autism, where it's not necessarily autism or sensory processing, because when you take the technology away and give them opportunities to develop those things, it gets better. You know what I mean? So if it were really a basal thing that you were born with, then it wouldn't improve when you take away the technology. But they're seeing that when kids do digital detoxes from these devices, the autism disappears.
I need that.
So then it's not autism. I don't think you're autistic.
No. I just need the detox.
Right. No, but we all do. I mean, we have to think about it. And there are many, many organizations now that are thinking about digital wellness and, how can we manage it? They have National Day of Unplugging and things like that. But for me, it's really about the children. I worry about the children because they don't have the choice that we do. We've already developed our frontal lobes. I don't know how old you are, but I'm 32 years old. The internet was invented 30 years ago this week. I grew up in the age of the internet came about. I had the opportunity to develop myself, and a lot of children don't.
Yeah, I'm older. I got to see the development of the internet. I played Star Wars in the trees out back of my house where we were pretending to shoot at stormtroopers, and that was good enough. I didn't need it all video represented for me in a 3D virtual reality realm.
Yeah.
They just were stormtroopers. And my friend Tim and I, we had to shoot them because we had to rescue Princess Leia. That's it.
And exactly. and through those games, we, developed our sense of self, our sense of society. We developed who's going to be the leader, who's going to be the follower, who's going to follow what rules, I don't like you when you do that. These are things that we butt up against that are really important for children to develop. And because so many children are stuck behind digital devices for so many hours a day, they're missing out on those important activities. And it's not just about the digital devices. It talks about this in the film too. It's the fact that so many of the children are put into really highly controlled play environments where the rules are given by the parents, that they're not developing those opportunities for free play. It also has to do with, the advent of fear in our society. People are guilty. They feel fearful. They don't want to let their kids go do things because they're afraid of things happening to them. This is another huge topic that I'm also concerned about, and who knows, maybe another documentary. We don't know yet, but yeah.
I have a friend who's a therapist, and it seems from her newsletters I continue to get that her whole career has shifted now to kids, teens, and technology.
Oh, that's fascinating.
That might even be the name of her ebook.
Yeah.
So it's like there's so much of that now. It might be her whole focus.
I've met many therapists who are also on board with that. Basically, they started it as a hobby for themselves, writing articles about how to manage social media with their teenage children, and now the need for that understanding how to manage that type of technology with people's children is just huge. I mean, people are hungry for this information. They don't know what to do. It's a brave new world, right? So
do you talk about the jealousy thing? I don't know if you get into when kids are a little older than just talks about, you're talking about how their development is affected. But later, of course, there's that whole thing where it's like, when I was a kid, I was like, I wonder if my friend John is having fun without me. Oh well. And now it's like, I wonder if my friend John is having fun without me. He is. And he's with Steve and Becky. Oh my God, there's a whole party going on and I'm not there. I'm sad.
So my primary concern was the younger kids.
Okay, yes. That's a whole other movie.
I do think that is really an important topic, and there are other documentaries that talk more about that. But for this one, I just felt like no one had really talked about the infants and the toddlers and the preschoolers that were being overexposed to these devices.
You shove an iPad in their face, right? That's parenting.
Exactly. I felt like that was the
I don't have kids, so I don't know. But I hear parenting is just give them an iPad.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy, right? And especially, going to dinner. Oh, you want to have an adult conversation. Let's just give the kids an iPad. But the problem is they're missing out on what it is to be human. They're missing out on the conversations you have, learning how to control themselves, being creative, right? Like bringing crayons and a piece of paper to dinner. Entertain yourself. I mean, that's a huge skill. And there are many ramifications on that.
George Carlin did a bit about that, man. He wasn't even really around in how dense the social media, became in society.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, I when I was a kid, I'd sit in the yard and I had a stick and I'd dig a hole. And I'd look at the stick, and I'd look at the hole, and I was happy, damn it.
Yes. I mean, this is really...
Yeah. And this was before, he was talking about that before. There was he probably just railing against TV. He didn't even know, all the other stuff that would come.
I think it's a basal human instinct, and I think it's really important for us to nourish that. And I don't think it's the next step of evolution to skip those things. I think it's really important for kids to have.
Child Disrupted. So
Yes.
I don't know how quick this video is going to go up online, but if it goes up by... No, it already played.
It played.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
But here's the good thing.
It played on Thursday.
You're in so many damn festivals that apparently one will be near a town where you live if you're watching this.
Actually, it's close to its festival end.
Okay.
Soon it will be available on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, and...
A little self-distribution? Or did you have any luck finding someone online?
No, a little self-distribution.
Okay.
I'm also available to do educational screenings. So many schools have already contacted me, and they're hosting parent education nights. I've done a lot of workshops.
I was going to say, do the kids watch the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, and how do they respond?
Yes. Elementary age kids are mainly who see it. I mean, the youngins don't really get to watch it, but they get it. I mean, my niece, she's now 11, and she watched it in the fall when I went to go visit. And as she was getting tucked in that night after watching it with our family, she said to her mother, Mama, thank you so much for limiting my screen time when I was growing up. I know I didn't like it. I know it was hard, but now I understand why, and I'm really grateful that you did.
Wow.
I mean, and I just feel like that, for me, I was like, oh, thank God.
I did it.
I did it.
I made an impact.
I think so, because I think kids, when they understand what it's doing to their brains or what they're missing out on because of it, they can make that choice for themselves. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a top-down approach. It doesn't have to be parents saying, no, you can't use it, it's bad. And then the kids, of course, kids crave it more when that happens. So... yeah, that's
I know my
deal.
eyesight's worse.
Yeah,
that's a whole. We'll do that documentary.
I know. I've had requests for that documentary.
Yeah.
But the website is childdisrupted.com. If anyone wants to go, you can sign up for the email list. Follow it on Facebook at Child Disrupted, and I'll let you know when it's released.
Krista Riihimaki.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, continued success.
Great.
Thanks so much. We'll be back with more filmmakers.
Thank you.
Just a sec.
All right, bye.